Hello, how you guys doing? James here. Hope you're doing well this morning. And I just want to have a topic this morning. I wanted to get off my chest, and it's a mixture of good news and some bad news and some not so great news, but some things in between. And one of the topics is talking about today's what's going on in today's world is how the workplace is right now. And in some cases, October 10th, the workplace is some workplaces are very toxic right now. Some workplaces are very, and it depends on what kind of job you have. Recently, I was telling you about my friend John, that he moved from, on the one video, from where we grew up at, and he went to another part of Ohio, and how continually his wife is still trying to drag at her feet, but I think she's slowly coming around to see how it's important to make a new start in the company, because when you have a lot on you in your when you're in your 50s and you have a not much to look forward to retirement, and you're working for a company that's about to go another year or two into business, it can go into instability. You're kind of on edge when it's just like that's part of being middle aged and being in a midlife crisis, so to speak. And one of the things that we were discussing is how his wife was at a certain age, at some point in her life, that she don't want to move, because even though the kids are grown, that this is home. But like I make in past videos, he did everything he can as a man to stand up for his youngest child, who was autistic, in which his youngest child got abused by the court, got by this company that hired these young men, and pretty much people disrespected him when it came to having these caregivers to look over him, and it was the ultimate. So he wanted justice for his son, and he fought for his son to get these two knuckleheads in jail for putting their hands on his son. Number two, and after going through back and back, and still, just on the latest thing on recently, in this state, Mahoney County is listed as one most worst place for his to take care of a person who's like an autistic or someone who's disabled. I mean, as far as you have a disabled adult or child, and so that's one of the reasons why he had to move. That's the second reason. That was the first reason. He did it for his son. The second reason was because the company that he was working at, they was about to shut down, and rumor was about to shut down the year. And what we was discussing about was how you see a lot of these jobs that have a lot of nepotism on the job, a lot of favoritism on the job. He was telling me how he was always on eggshells when it came to being at this job for a while. I mean, he was just being there for 2.5 years. He said how people were just making innuendo jokes and asking personal questions, and I mean, he's really getting on. He's trying to play it off and play cool. A couple times he had to tell people none of their business. Asking about what his wife do in the bedroom. This is a bunch of old men, but these grown ass men are acting like they're like 16, 17 years old or college age. So these guys is older than him, some of them his age and older, and they just they go around. He was telling me some crazy stuff, like they would do stuff on the job, like pictures of on the nipples, and kick each other in the groin area and all this crazy mess. And I said, I said, are you serious, John? How old are these men? He said, man. He said, and it was just he said in the 50s and 60s, and I said, he said I had to deal with this for 2.5 years, and then one time by him being one of the few black guys, when there was another black guy, but he acted like he didn't really talk to John and all like that. He eventually got to come before John did, but he was saying how they would ask him stupid stuff like, and about, just joking about the genital size and all that stuff like that. He's like, I don't, just making innuendo jokes. And this is what I call being around insecure people who do stuff like this. And I hate to say it, it's always seemed like it's some white males that do this. That when you work around them, this is what they do. He was saying how he was, he knew a person that we went to school with, and they were good. They was his classmates. They was just good. He was just really cool. He was cool with everybody, no matter what person, which you are, whether he was considered a person that was a jock or a nerd, whatever, stuff like that when we was in school. And now the person is he was a man, but now he's a woman, so he's transgender. And these guys make a big stink about that, joking about, he's gonna do this to you, blah 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 blah. I'm like, he said, no, we were just cool, but they made it into a joke because there were some people that he was working with that went to school. We came out the same year, and they knew who this young man was, and they would ask him to say some dumb stuff about what him and him going to do in the bedroom. He going to do this to you. And I'm like, this guy's already who's transgender. He's married to a transgender person, and they live in another state. So where you coming up with all this crazy mess? And this is what you got to deal with on the job. And sometimes, you can't say nothing because a lot of the people that were in this company is related to that's connected to the owner. It's kind of like a buddy owner thing, and so you really don't have much to say in these companies, because when you see a company where you got the brother-in-law, the sister-in-law, and they good friends with this person that went to school with, they just kind of like, okay, you just a new person, you the outsider though, and you raising stink, you raising problems. And he was telling me about that, and he's telling me how the way his supervisor, he let the other guys do what on other plant do what he do, but when John decided to do something and does something, he get on him extra hard. And he said I come to work and do my job and everything. He said I don't know why the supervisor, it's like this boss had it in for him. And tell him that if he don't know how to drive his tow motor, that he's going to get fired. If he don't learn how to do this crane, he's going to get fired. And no one really helped train John. And so he said constantly he was at this job, he was walking on eggshells constantly all the time. And I'm telling you, man, that's why a lot of people don't know what it's like to work in some of these places. Some of these workplaces can be toxic. And I tell them, I say, hey, I've been around rednecks that have that kind of mindset. It's like they can't adjust your reality, so they gotta find anybody. If anybody don't look like them that they can to mess with, they gotta mess with the next thing. And if it's always a black person, they're gonna see what they can, how far they're gonna push you, because they live in a reality that most people around them look like them. And it's like, wow, like some people grow up and realize that we in a different world, we in a different time. Time is time to change. But these people is something else to work with. I work around a few rednecks that use racial slurs, and it takes a lot for you to hold back and want to slap the heck out of somebody. But you can't, that's not the way to handle things. But a lot of people don't know, and like he was telling his wife that his wife is the same, telling that the reason. Well, maybe you can work it out. Maybe you can stand on the job. Show them that you can do a better job. He said, show them what? He said, I ain't got nothing to prove to them. And because she's trying to find every excuse not for him not to leave that job, so they don't have to leave their house. But he's looking at it from perspective like there's no advancement in the company. Number one. Number two, when people from the other plant telling you from another part of town that we hear that your plant is having some problems and they about to shut down in another year or two, you're gonna have to. Then that's the big headline. It's time to get up and go. And this has have happened to people who work at companies that you wait. You say, they ain't gonna do. They ain't gonna do it. Then last minute, they're out of a job, just like that. They're out of. And this is the case where even his brother-in-law was working at a company in the town where we're from, and it was like where the old General Motors, where Lordstown was, and he was working at Lordstown Motors. So what happened was Lordstown Motors was supposed to get this big contract with the company, and they never did. And then it was some strife between the owners and everything. So his brother-in-law saw the thing. So right before all this stuff was happening, his brother-in-law asked to get transferred out of there. Next thing you know, he got a job in a different part of another city in Ohio, and he just saw the signs, and it's like he didn't wait till the last minute. Does it mean that you have to start all over again and go around putting resumes and all over the place? And this is what happened. And so I commend my friend John for jumping on his job that's in Toledo, Ohio. And the job he's getting with now is 10 times better than the job that he was. They treat him with respect, they give him stock options, and it's a job that's a career. It's not like one of the kind of jobs where it's a labor job or mill job. It's a job that you can advance. And what he was telling me about this company, and he said that people are cool. He said most of the people the guys he work with younger, they're cool, and they don't tolerate. And he said one thing about the company he work at now, they don't tolerate that stuff. And they got a whole booklet where any kind of form of harassment that they're nipping in the bud, and there ain't no favoritism, anything. So he's been at that job, and they take time out to personally. No one's trying to screw you over like his other company was. You had to learn on your own, whatever. They're willing to work with you, and they trained him. And he said he was kind of nervous at first, learning how to work on cylinders and motors at major corporations and behind their factories. And so he was saying that how it's a lot better, and that right now he had to stay in a hotel for a while because he's trying to get him an apartment. I think he's in the process of getting an apartment, but he had to stay, and it had to come out of his pocket, staying at a hotel while he's going to work up there and being trained and everything. And I'm really, I'm proud of him, man. It's like, because I know, and we was to talk about that, and I said, I know how hard it was down there, John. I said, I know how in the early 90s, we went all up and down Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania trying to get a job that at least was basically like a career. And one thing, like most companies, like some of these companies, you get into the major, like General Motors, or at the time Packer Electric, or General Electric, or some company like that, you had to know somebody just to get into the company, or someone's son or someone's daughter. And so a lot of times, a lot of people leave because leave their town or city like Youngstown because you're not gonna get the job, or you're gonna get some second-rate job that you're gonna have to bust your butt for damn little or no money. And some of the companies still pay low wages around there. Some of these little aluminum factories that some people, and even the company where he was at, they should start, they've been making $18, $19 hours for 20 years. They never really advanced in their raises and pay. Cost of living going up, and they're not cutting you no profits. And so you got to work your behind off and see how much overtime you can get. And then if you get that much overtime, it's probably still ain't enough. So you feel like you're working 40, 50, 60 hours over a company that don't even give you no bonuses. At some point, he get a bonus. This company you work at now, he's getting bonus and stuff. And companies that he worked for in the past, he was telling me that this one company he worked for, he worked after the company he worked at for 25 years. They transferred him to Northwest Ohio. This was a different company, and how he would drive from 2.5 to 3 hours to go to this company up there and work a damn near 10-hour shift, and he'd be tired as I don't know what, man. I don't see how he did it, man. And he had to kind of stay up there. Sometimes he's trying to drive back, but when you work 10-hour shift, then get on the road and you have to drive 3 hour way. That's can be a bit much. And so he finally let that job go because I think he got hurt on the job, and it was a situation where it was so bad that one of the lawyers from the company came down and said, you about to get off the job right now. And it was some big old controversial political mess, and they never really reimbursed him for his time and money up there. Then they was messing with his checks and stuff, and now the company that he was working up near Sandusky, Ohio, they couldn't hardly keep nobody because they mistreat people and things like that. And it's really getting hard. It's not so much hard to find work. It's about finding a workplace that treats you like a human being. You got some of these people that is in management that don't know, they tolerate things, they pick favorite. There's a lot of nepotism in some companies, and that's why some people don't want to go back to work. And what COVID did, that was another reason why too, because you got to think about your livelihood, but your health, because you don't know just being around people can, being a certain vicinity of people, you can get sick, But and then it took a hit on a lot of people's businesses, and some people don't even consider that you figured that they would kind of change their mind, but some people went back and turned out to be worse devils than what they really are. And but I remember those times going trying to find those jobs, man. And in the early 90s, it was rough. Late 80s and the 90s, trying to find a job around a town where you can't make a sustained amount of money because it's not enough money for you even get an apartment even back then. It was really something. So in order to get a better job and get somewhat of a career, you have to leave a city. You have to leave that town to go, because you have a choice between taking some little restaurant job, little warehouse job. We got to work 1 or 2 of them or something like that just to make ends meet. And that's what it was in his case, man. And that's why I commend him for that. I really do. That he saw the writing on the wall. He got up and left. His wife still don't like it. She's still trying to go back and forth with him about that. But hey, when you see something coming down the pipe, that you follow your husband because he see what's about to happen. Especially when it comes to that kind of, and she has a part-time job, but and which is kind of rough because he's the main incomer. So he's trying to hold down a house, a mortgage, and two car notes, and and gas, electric, and water, and got insurance and all that stuff will come out your check. That could be kind of stressful. And so you're trying to find something so you won't have to sustain that struggle. And I told him, hey, I understand why you gotta do what you gotta do. And his parents said the same thing, because his parents said that his wife need to get off and get her a little full-time job too. And I say, not only that his parents said, her own sister said the same thing. You need to help your husband, And they got into a big old argument about it and everything. But anyway, it's really taken to the point. It's taken two people to really have an income, unless you is one. But the rate, the cost of living is now, for house or rent or mortgage is outrageous. And some people are going back into renting. And luckily, he found an apartment that the rent still is reasonable in part of Ohio, Northwest Ohio, where in other parts of Ohio you got to pay like $1,000, over $1,000 just to rent an apartment. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You got to pay over $1,000 for the same apartment that a year ago was maybe $800. Now it's going over almost, some will go damn near $2,000. And it's just that, and they're cracking down on some of these cities that's doing stuff like that. And so it's making it so hard for people to even work and live. And some people got to probably live out their car. That's why some people in California probably living out their car and living out their office, because it's outrageous just to try to, with some of these companies, they don't want to pay, they don't want to advance, but they want you to work your butt off. And like I said, you better hope you work with a company that you ain't got a bunch of idiots that's working around you they can't adjust their reality because someone's different than them. You have some grown ass adults that never grew up, and they don't understand that times are changing, people are changing, and then they get so, and then you get on with some of these companies, they get so complacent, being prejudiced and racist and shit. So that's another thing you gotta deal with. And then some people back them up, and if and you may not have enough money to sue they behind, and it's like harassment. And I've seen it. I've been on jobs where the guy make it seem, there was one time guy was taking money off the company. I had this happen to me twice in the early 90s. I was working at, one place was at a photography place, and the woman was making it seem like when I went out there to go collect the money, and I come back and I bring the money for the photography, she was chipping money off the side and literally getting people and co-workers in trouble, and got me fired. And she was the manager at the time. She was taking money and using money for her personal gain. I had this happen to me twice. Happened to me in a little pizza delivery job in Nelsonville, where the guy was a manager in Nelsonville, Ohio. And at the time I was going to school down there, being a college student. And he was, and I found out years later, 2 or 3 years later, when one of the guys that knew his wife came up, because he worked He was a driver with them down in that part of the town too. And he told me told this whole story. What happened that he purposely set me and this other people up, and he was getting people fired. He was skimming money up, taking money off of Domino's, and guess what? They didn't fire him. You know what they did to him? They transferred him down into another part of Ohio and reduced him down to a pizza delivery driver. This happened in 1991, and it happened to me in 1990. So, and if that's what the photography thing, and this is what I've been. I've been on some companies that people did some shady stuff at the top, and then you get some of these people that they belittle, berate you like you're a grown person. They talking to you like you a teenager. And they're like you're a grown person, and it's like you really wanted. One time I had that happen to me on one job, and it wasn't really necessary for this guy to do that. And he tried to berate me in front of somebody, my employees, man. And I had to. That's why I leave, because it was like some not so nice thoughts were going through my head, and I want to take something and knock his brains out. That's why I felt like it, man. He disrespect. There's some people who will take you there. I mean, and I'm not I'm a quiet person. I'm a get along person. And them the kind of people, they always try you because they know you like that. And it's like you got to come off crazy from the rip. And if you don't let them know where you stand from the rip, they'll bully you. And they see if they'll try you. So this is another reason why some people, you see some people going off on jobs in some companies. And I'm not excusing any workplace place or violence, but you got to understand. You have to hear. And some people bully people in workplace violence. They intimidate people in workplace violence. You figure that stuff was in high school and elementary school. Now we got grown adults doing stuff like this, and they get comfortable, and they never grew up out of their childhood. They were probably a bully in high school, and they grew up being an adult being a bully. And then when somebody ain't gonna take it no more and get to the edge, it's like, man, why did that guy do something like that? That he's willing, that some person that completely snapped, and you have to really play it off. And they don't know, man. There's some people out in this world, they just don't know that when they do stuff like that, they don't know somebody. A lot of people are not gonna take you coming at them like that just because you feel like you big and no bad, and maybe there's some people that quite shy down and quiet down. Not every person gonna quiet and shy down, And there's been cases where some people in national news being a bully, and that was their last day on earth. That's what happened. So it's good to. Isn't it easy just to respect somebody, so they don't have to get to that point? And it make it so bad. The job you taking this mess off, it's not like it's a career job. It ain't making no money. It's offering no benefits. They're not offering nothing. But you're taking a more unnecessary mess, and you're getting stressed. You get high blood pressure. You're getting anxiety attacks. You having all these things coming at you. And it's to the point that, like I talking about my one last job back in 2021, where I started enjoying the job because I can get to work on time, which I did. I'm friendly to the customer, which I was. But I one time I made a mistake because I forgot a company key, and someone came, I brought it to me. Or one time I had a product, and it was in the same location, but I had to drop at two different locations. And someone said, "Hey, your driver didn't," and I had that a little mental mistake like that. And I said, "Oh, okay, it was in a location, but it was dropped at two different locations." And they got to be specific about that. But this manager, man, this one time, and I'm getting up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, driving up here to his company, coming to work on time. I get along with my coworkers, you know. Being the third shift people, we get along real cool. As soon as it turns into the first shift, this is why I get the buttholes. And so the reason why I left this job is because he so-called went off me on me in office, and he said that he was telling me, yeah, this is you made this mistake before, and with this, and you need to start doing a better job, and you need to start coming back here on time. And I've been coming back on time. Only time I stopped was to get some gas or get something to eat. And how they had the route worked out where, each driver come in and you get, and I go do my route and drop off, and once I get the product and bring the past product, and I bring it back to the office, and I'll wait. So they had to wait and stir up another batch that goes return to the send to the next hospital or the next assignment. And I always did that. I enjoyed that, man. But when he talked to me like that, man, I said, this is my last week. And I put up with that for a year. I said, this is my last week. And so I didn't quit. I didn't just boom, didn't want to count it. I waited till the end of the week, pack my stuff, say this is my last day. Wait until the day, the third, this is my last week. I ain't tell him. I told her to tell him this is my last, that Friday was my last day, and it was on a Wednesday because I finished out the week. But I couldn't take it no more, man. You're not gonna belittle me like that. I'm a grown ass man, and I ain't gonna. And then there's other guys working under, and and you could tell he like one of them kind of people. He like one of them. He got that good old redneck looking kind of look. So them type gonna give you, and he kind of had that look like he's gonna give you some hell. And he just got, and I'm like, I'm just kind of played off. But he had, I try to stay away, avoid him every way impossible I can avoid him. Work away from him. And he's just coming around. He seen me do a certain job. Why are you doing it that way? But yet, there was a young man that was 10, 15 years younger than me, did the same thing. He was a young white dude. He didn't do that to him. But he had to berate me down like that. And I'm telling you some of the stuff that why some people, and it's just a little delivery job where he's delivering pharmaceuticals to the hospital. And like I said, I was getting there on time. Sometimes I would have to sit there, and they would get upset. I had to wait. The reason why I waited was because they would say, because you wait for a minute, the staff would ask me, we getting it ready, we about to get it done. So I said, sure, take your time, and then they would get upset because, and I'm doing this for them because that's the customer site. And they said, what I'm gonna do when I get back there ain't gonna be. It was not hardly no. I can't take the next delivery because there's already the next delivery driver there anyway. Someone had to do is sit around the office and wait and figure out what to do in the meantime. I bet you better do some job. You gotta keep busy. And it's like, man. So I'm trying to make it easier, and you're trying to make it easier, and trying to appease the customer, because I'm not gonna be sassy and get an attitude with the people at who was their customers or who they staff, because that stuff can get back to you. So I said, yeah, no problem. Just take your time whenever I'm here. Because I have enough time because I only had 3 routes, and I made enough time just to get with enough hours, within enough time to get to the next stop. So I didn't mind waiting. But this redneck looking person didn't like that. And I explained what happened. You know, you supposed, well, you gotta tell them you gotta come back here. You can't wait. What I'm rushing for? I mean, when you it's going to this, so you can get it going and make another batch and go send it back out the next day. And it's just that it was, you know, some bull crap like that. And like I said, I made it on time. I didn't get caught with attitude. You know, in fact, I will get there half hour early and try to get my stuff ready before I get on the ship. Then once I get the company car, I try to get there a little bit early so I can get in there and give enough time, because I was getting comfortable. I could just boom, 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 knock it out before the time the nurses or doctors or the staff get there and get the medication and everything is good. But yeah, it's like, and then I had a company. I was transporting pilots, and I didn't get paid a paycheck, right? I got a paycheck, but it was on commissions. So how you had to get dressed up in a shirt and tie. Hopefully that here's part of your pay. They give you $1. So you had to be out there for 8-10 hours, driving, picking up these heavy ass bags, taking them to the airport, take these pilots and steward and these crews to the airport. And you get so many, they pay you by so many people that you pick up. And then you get to the airport. Then you had to, you know, deal with some where you had to park at. You got to park over here. And one time this guy, you know, got on my nerves. He talked to me like, didn't I say, hey, look at me when I'm talking to you? I'm about ready to, ooh, that made me so mad that time, man. It's like some of the stuff, shoot, boy. And then I had then the manager, she talked to me like that one time. I said, you take this job and stick it up your behind. This is the type of thing. And again, it's a company. I come to work, come on time, everything. You know, because I believe in coming early. You know, and just to get there so you can avoid the traffic, because traffic in Columbus, Ohio, can be a mess. You know, with the construction and school zones. You know, you better watch your speed. These people talk about they want you to hurry up. Man, I ain't getting no ticket. Screw you. Just to appease you. I ain't running no red light, getting no ticket. What you gonna do for me? And then just sit back, and then if I get a ticket, oh well, I don't know what to tell you. You know, you should have been speeding. We can have you out of company. See, they do little stuff like this. Some of these people, and you flying with the company vehicle, and you taking a chance, and you can get pulled over too. And you got to be careful around construction zones and school zones and all that. At the same time, ain't nothing worth. So that's why it's good to start out. Give me something to start out early, so I get to my destination on time. I don't rush for nobody when it comes to something like that. You know, I ain't never had points on my license. I ain't gonna start having points on my license just to appease you with a little penny-ante job. This is stuff I had to go through. So I know it was like to work around people that's just, it's something to work with, man. And but yeah, when I was where my friend was living at, we worked all these little warehouse jobs, and that wasn't making no money. And then I got hurt a couple times, and had to file workers' comp a couple times, and it was a bad injury. One of them I messed my injured my groin, and then, you know, they told him, and it was like a situation where you push in boxes and stuff, and I guess, you know, the way I stand, and I showed their doctor even agreed, yeah, that is a possible work-related injury because the way I was positioned, they didn't want to pay the bill. I had to go to a chiropractor for 2.5 years. But they belittled me and mocked me and everything when I got on that company. But here's the kicker. That company's out of business. Because years later, that company went out of business. Well-known retailer, warehouse business. And yeah, it's just something that, and people always say, well, there's jobs out here, but you better make sure you get in a company that treats you with respect, that you get a job that you can somewhat tolerate and not let it get to you mentally, because you never know, man. You just never know. And some people go through so much, and it can weigh on you mentally. So I used to think used to have that mindset too. Some people, and there's some people out in this world are lazy. I get it. Some people never want to work, and some people that can't work because working around other people could be detrimental to your health. For real. And some people mentally break down. They get mentally harassed. They don't tell you about that part. And they say to the point, I don't want to be around people no more. And that's what had happened to me that last time. Like, I got to the point I don't want to be around people no more. And so it caused you to be isolated because you dealt with that so many years after years with that. And it's people and some people can say, well, that's just life. Well, no, when it comes to my health, it isn't. When it comes to my mental status, it isn't. But yeah, that's what happened. Being nepotism and favoritism, and knowing that you ain't gonna have a chance because they're gonna favor their co-worker over you. You just coming into the company, and this person is acting like a big old devil sitting up there on that job. But that's what he went through, and I've been in companies like that, so I know. And for his wife to sit there and say, well, that means you got to stand up. You can't let them run you away. I said, run away from what? You've been fighting with them for a long time, dealing with their little innuendo and racist jokes and stuff. Yeah, this is something we got to deal with, and that and particularly black men and people of color. When you predominate around some white people, they get insecure like that. They start, they're gonna test you, like what these little crazy comments, and most of the time they get kind of personal. Then it's like they want to know your business and stuff like that. He say, I'm telling my business, and they tell him his business. They tell him about what they do to their wives in the bedroom and all that. Oh, graphic and detailed stuff, man. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? He said, why are we having this conversation right now? I don't want to hear no stuff like that. He told me, he said, then we rehash about things we did in high school. We've been out of school for damn 30-something years, and you still talk about things in high school. I mean, stuff that, like, are you serious? And I tell them, I said, some people are stuck in a time warp. They never left. They never advanced their mind. I'm telling you some of the things that that I've seen on the job, and he witnessed. And sometimes you got to get up and change. Sometimes you got to get up and leave a town like Youngstown, Ohio, because people will buying you with that stuff. It's always be there for good memories, but you can't live in your memories. You can't stay there in your memories. But you got people that want to keep you in bondage. But I want to air out this morning why about why some people out there not working. So there's some people out there lazy. There's some people that want to work, but there's some people. It depends on the companies you work for. And people say, well, they can't discriminate. They can do what the hell they want, and they can cover it up. And I said, they can't. That's against the law. They can't do that. What's stop it now? They ain't stop it then. And so, government ECO said, why you ain't hiring the people? Well, we did check out the applicant. Well, his credit wasn't up to par. They can say something like that because now they got to check your credit. They will always find a loophole. If they don't want to give you, they can find a way to do it. But trust and believe me, there's ways around it. Because ever since it's that you have to prove, and then like I say, once you get the job, you sure you want to be in with this company. And sometimes I think back at some of those companies, maybe God didn't want me in those companies because He's seen some stuff what they did. Not that God don't want you to work, but God probably don't want you to be at this particular company. I look at it that way anyway. And so that's the reason why some people don't. One of the reasons why on the other hand, and then you got the nepotism, the favoritism working against you, and uncovered racism working against you. And it could be sexism, age. They gonna find a way to discriminate against you. Trust me. And they still got their favorites when it comes to people. They want the company to look just like them, the people that look like them, and they don't want us around. Well, what did they call? Well, tell them that we took the position. I'm telling you, nothing ever changed. They'll find another way. And companies like that, I don't feel sorry because they go out of business. A lot of companies that we knew that didn't hire us, no longer in business. I said, good for their asses. In the same way with that last company he left, they about to shut down that plant. Where these rednecks did all that stuff to him. But he didn't tell them where he was going. Hey, John, he said, okay. Hey, you can give me company? He said, he's not, the position filled up. I said, hell yeah. Let them find them out. Let them find their own damn jobs. Don't tell them nothing. Don't tell these rednecks nothing. Don't give them a darn thing because they're white males in America. They'll get a fucking job somewhere. Trust me. They'll hire them, fire them. They hire still to this day. They hire us in parts of America, so they get it where they want. That's it. Hey, hell, even the little country rural counties where they have little factories and stuff making machinery parts. They'll hire them before they hire us. That's the truth. That they want people that look like that can relate to them. And if they don't hire somebody, they'll probably hire a light white Hispanic guy. Oh yeah. Yeah. And that'd be that minority. They might hire a white woman. Yeah. Just to get that from the government. There's ways around things, ladies and gentlemen. And it could be the most biggest racist some companies you ever know. Some managers and owners. And it's not until you see or you hear or someone that feels subconsciously who is white can give you that information. And you find like, what? Yeah. Yeah, we talked, and they say, yeah, we talked about, I heard talk about different groups of people, black people, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. It don't go away. It don't go away. I'm trying to tell you, racism don't go away. Not in the workplace. It's even worse. And some people lose their mind, mess them up, traumatize them. It almost did me a couple times. Yeah. And I used to let things get to me. And as I got older, and when you come close to damn near having, you at some point you learn not to give an F after a while. it hardens you up because you see what the system is really about. You see it for what it is, and they don't think you see it because they think that they're smarter and more superior intelligence than you do. But no. I see it coming down the pipe. I'm that nice person that always kept their mouth quiet. I might think I allow things, let people let them get the best and say the best things over me. And the worst thing to do is to get gray hairs and anxiety. Don't let it happen to you. Yeah. So what I'm saying is find a company, and you know that stand on say square with that you can feel comfortable and work at, and regardless of your race, color, creed, sex, orientation, or religion. Don't work around rednecks. Don't work around the people that can't understand that the time is changing. Let them suffer. Let them feel what the rap what they put on you. Because it's like what John went through. When that company closed down another year, and they guys in their middle age they ain't hit retirement, they got a rude awakening. And I don't even feel sorry. I said, I wouldn't feel sorry for them. What they put you through, trying to get you fired and stuff. Supervisor talking to you like you a teenager. And his brother-in-law work at the other plant. His ex-brother-in-law did. So his brother-in-law's a supervisor. So they come over with that bull crap and they fly over there. He said he'll fire him just like that. So they got work under a man who's half black and half white. If they want a job, you better keep your redneck opinions to yourself. Yeah. But anyway, I didn't. But this is I want to make this video, and this is what the workplace is like. You have to be careful where and don't. Sometimes I find myself saying, like I be scanning the employers like they do us. Get it. Do I want to work with you? What's your company about? Shit, especially when you got the skills and you got the knowledge and wherewithal. Because you may not want to work for them because they could be on some stupid mess, and they got people that want to drag their feet. A lot of these people don't who see it, and they tell you got to do this, on your resume and do this and do that. Yeah, you could do all these things. These people can still act like they holding this job up like you come scraping like a beggar or a god. I ain't giving them that God treatment. Screw them. I get along with people, but you get tired of feel like you so-called kissing their butt. No way. That's all right. And that's I used to think some people. That's why I see why some people rather stay homeless. They don't wish they don't want to than deal with some of these knucklehead people. Because you probably at least you have some sort of peace. You may not have scrape up off the ground, but at least you have peace. But these companies, man, which I don't advocate that now, but I see why some people don't go back to work. Because in mentally it can wear on you. And workplace violence ain't the solution. No. The best thing to do is have your own. But don't harm nobody. That's not the solution. Don't harm yourself. That's not the solution. Solution is get away from it. And get enough money. Or leave the territory. Go to a better territory. Go to a better city, go to a better state. Don't stay around the people. And when hellfire come down and consume their mindset, you get the last laugh. You'll get the last laugh, trust me. Alright then. But yeah, that's my rant. That's my little rant for this morning about jobs and everything. Yeah, but that's the reason why people are hesitant about going back to the workplace. That's one of the reasons why. Because you got to deal with stuff like that at the workplace. It depends on what company you at. Depends on how they are. Is it a good family setting background? All right then, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Till next time, take care and good luck with your